Hello and welcome to our 10-minute trainings on Lender's Office. This is Stephen Martin, and today we are going to show you how to use the closing cost templates in the GFE and how to disclose an ARM correctly in Lender's Office. First thing we'll want to do is go ahead and enter in the loan and go to the 2010 GFE. Now, the defaults for your loan templates are going to be our lender fees, along with whether or not it's going to be APR, FHA approved. It's also going to be showing paid to ICE residential lending, according to whether or not the type of loan it is, whether it's conventional, FHA, VA. It's going to populate that information correctly. Problem comes in the fact that the loan templates are built around the default fees for the state that the branch is located in. Now, some of our branches have the ability to generate loans in states other than their home, where their office is located. So, for example, one of our states is based in California, but they're able to originate loans in Texas, for example. Now, because each state is different on the subject property state fees, we'll have to use a closing cost template. And for this example, we're using an AZ conventional loan template, but we need to use a closing cost template in, say, California. Now, this loan is a conventional loan, so what we would do is just click on the Find Closing Cost Template, find the state that the subject property is located in, and select the type of loan that's going to be. This one's conventional, so we'll go ahead and click Apply. And it's going to populate the California state fees. If we had selected a California FHA, apply. It'll mark the fees that are actually FHA allowed. As with any other loan, though, you'll want to make sure that your interest rate's correct. Term date, you'll want to make sure that your first payment date is correct for your treatment lending amortization schedule. Estimated closing date is useful for determining the amount of days of interest that are going to be required, days in year. Conventional is 360, but FHA loans are going to be 365, along with VA. You'll want to make sure that the interest rate on a locked loan is going to be through the end of the lock period, but floating loan is going to be through today's date at 5 p.m. your local time zone. So I'm located in the Mountain Time Zone. So Mountain Time estimate for all other settlement charges is going to be for 10 business days, not including Saturdays or holidays. That's through 5 p.m. Mountain Time. For floating, we'll use 10 days because you can never go shorter than the amount that you disclosed. But if it's locked, you'll want to put in the actual lock period. Now, if it's floating, rate must be locked for 1 business day before settlement. But if it's locked, you'll put in NA. Credit or charge, line 802, the positive number is going to be a discount point. So if it's going to cost the borrower 1 point to get our interest rate, you want to make sure that that APR is checked. But it's a lender credit, say 0.75, negative number and make sure that the APR box is not checked, along with the bulletin that went out regarding lender and seller paid fees. If there is a lender credit, you'll have to actually calculate $2,100 in fees that are going to be lender paid. So you can do lender paid, so on until you've exhausted the amount of lender credit. And that's so that the APR is calculated correctly. And even though it's showing lender paid and a credit of negative of 0.75, it'll still calculate correctly on your 1003 and on your GFE. That's all there is to discuss about the closing cost template. Next thing we're going to discuss is how to disclose an ARM in lender's office. To disclose an ARM correctly, we're going to want to go to the Truth in Lending. Go to the Truth in Lending page. First thing you want to do is make sure that your prepared date is today's date. Under the amortization type, make sure you select ARM. And this one we're going to use a 5-1 conventional. Make sure your first payment date is correct still. And then we're going to click on the Populate for Loan Program template. You'll get a pop-up with different types of loan programs available for the template. The default for the TIL is going to be based on a fixed loan, fixed term, and the assumption, late payment, that's going to be determined on whether you selected the template from the beginning of the creation of the loan, whether it's VA, conventional, FHA. So keep that in mind. On this one, we're going to use a conventional 5-1 ARM. Now you'll see that there's generic conventional, and there's a few lender-specific loans. Now the reason that there's some lender-specific loans is because there are loans that our investors have that don't necessarily correlate to a generic loan. Like, for example, GMAC has the conforming IOs. This will populate the interest-only amount into your loan. But we're going to use the generic conventional 5-1 ARM. Rule of thumb is if it's not available as a lender-specific, use the generic. You'll also get a printout with what loan program template is going to correspond to the type of loan. As you see, as we populate from one program template, our adjustments populate. Cap, first change date, life adjustment cap, adjustment period. So if this was 5/6, this would be changed to 6 months. Margins are also defaulted in, and your index is actually going to be determined later. Rate floor, you're going to want to type in your margin. And the rounding leave according to the parameters built into the loan template. Under interest only, if you had selected interest only, it would select the number of, it would populate the correct number of months. And since we also selected an ARM, it automatically selected the variable rate feature. And since we had a conventional, it's put in the correct amount for the filing fees, late charge, and time, and based on conventional, the assumption is also there. Go ahead and save this screen. We're going to go to the ARM program disclosure. First thing you'll want to do is pick from the list. Right now we have built-in indices for the 1-year CMT, constant maturity treasury, 1-year LIBOR, and a 6-month LIBOR. Since this is a 5-1 conventional, we're going to use the 1-year LIBOR. It's going to be probably the most used one. Most are doing a lot of FHA or VA ARMs and will use the 1-year CMT, but select the 1-year LIBOR. As you can see, it entered in the information correctly right here. And these defaults are going to be, you will be notified in writing at least 25 days, but not more than 120 days. And that's going to fill out your initial ARM disclosure correctly there. Go ahead and save. An index, you'll have to use the information found here. So you can see where this index is going to be found. This is going to be found in the Wall Street Journal. You can look it up and find the LIBOR. CMT is based on the Federal Reserve Board, so but you'll have to look up the amount and enter in that index here. Right now, close to 0.7. Not much change there. And after you're done, that's pretty much it with using the loan program templates for creating an ARM. You would still go to Services and DocMagic, and you would export this to DocMagic, just like with any other initial disclosure, and the information regarding the ARM will populate it into DocMagic automatically. That's it for today's 10-minute training. If you have any questions on this, please email vapor@iservelending.com, and we will get back to you with the answer to your question as quickly as we can. Thank you very much for attending today's session, and have a good day.